down, that's a pretty good turn.
Well, that'll be a part of it, yeah. How are you going, mate? Nice to see you.
Good evening and welcome to KG5, another big night in the NPL Tasmania title race. Another big Friday night clash here featuring the Glenorchy Knights 7 days after they were felled by South Hobart, ceding top spot on the table. They have got the chance to reclaim it, though it may only be on a temporary basis. South Hobart will take on the Devonport Strikers tomorrow at Darcy Street. 3 points tonight for Glenorchy would really ramp up the pressure ahead of that game. The stakes are high. Knights not out of this title race yet. They're still very much in it, just a point behind South Hobart. They'll need South to slip up. But as we say, a massive clash against Devonport tomorrow. It could well happen. They simply must take care of business against the Lions tonight. I'm Andrew Calling. Joining me to call this big Friday night blockbuster is Paul Hunt. And Paul, a pleasure to be with you for the second week in a row, mate.
Friday night football bringing the goods as the NPL Tas season comes to a very thrilling conclusion here in the year 2024. One of the best title races we've seen in years, and another pivotal match here tonight under the bright lights of KG5. The players there, as you can see, coming out of the new and improved change room. The grandstand there still out of action. Good crowd in attendance tonight, and both of these teams, when they've played each other this year, have given us some of the best games of the season. Obviously that fantastic Lacazette Jet Cup final, and then another great Friday night game from earlier in the year, and one feature of that's been goals, and I'm expecting more of the same tonight. I don't know about you.
Yeah, there was a 7-3 in there as well, I think, if I recall.
Down at the Den, yeah.
There's been plenty of goals in the fixtures between these two. The Lacazette Cup final, as you mentioned, was an absolute cracker. Hopefully we have another entertaining encounter here this evening. The Lions probably locked into fourth at this stage. Launceston still could catch them though, so they'll not want to drop points again here tonight. They've fallen out of the title race. They were certainly in that for the first couple of rounds, but just dropped away. Probably looking like a fourth place finish, but they're a quality side with some quality players. Two of the leading scorers in the competition in Noah Mees and Kobe Kemp, who you'd have to imagine will be right up there in the best and fairest count again this year. We'll take you through the starting lineups for this encounter. The Glenorchy Knights, it's an easy one for people tuning in last week. Unchanged, both the starting 11 and the bench. They've got Burden, Burkic, Glover, Harrison, Dillon, Mearns, Redfern, Caldwell, Walpole, Corderuccio and Schmidt. On the bench, Samet, Bain, Theodoro and Caldo. One change, Anthony Mamich comes onto the bench for Preble. That's the only swap there, but the starting lineup is unchanged. For the Lions, one change was forced. That was their star keeper, Masatoshi Kawano. Fingers crossed his recovery is going well. A nasty knock last week down at the Den. I hope he's recovering well, but he's replaced in goals by young Lockie Schofield. Came on and played the end of that game, and a big task tonight up against this fearsome Knights front line. The other change is Hess for Hess. Alfred Hess making way for his brother Matthew. Freddie Hess, of course, the player coach of this side. The rest of the lineup, Eli Wright, Greg Downs, Jacob Hughes-Lute, Alex Brown, Kobe Kemp, Noah Mees, Eli Lutmer, Otto Schwartz, Keenan Dowse. So still plenty of good players in the starting lineup for the Lions. Their bench is Hughes, Dolliver, Hess, Hammond and Mundy.
Yeah, we'll see what how Lockie Schofield goes in. What I imagine is his starting debut in the NPL Tasmania. Came off for that 15 or so minutes at the end last week at the Den, as you mentioned. Kawano very groggy heading off the field there under some assistance from the training and medical staff of his team there, as Kobe Kemp gets us ready on this occasion. Really excited to see the inclusion from the start of Eli Wright for the Lions as we are underway here at KG5. Very exciting young winger. We've got a fair few in the state at the moment. He gets the first touch there as first person wanting a free kick off Stratos Plomaridis. Oh no, sorry, it's Copper in the middle. Stratos is on the line, and that one is given by Copper.
There's some big name referees out there as well this evening for this clash. It certainly shapes as a big one, perhaps not as big as it might have earlier in the year when the Lions were still in the race. It was a four-way title fight, but the stakes enormous for the Glenorchy Knights. They can afford no more slip-ups after last week. Very much a must-win encounter for them. They can really ramp up the pressure on the match of the round at Darcy Street tomorrow. South Hobart taking on the Devonport Strikers. I'm sure both would be quite content to sit back and cheer on the Lions here this evening. Devonport playing the Knights on the final day. They'd certainly love them to have nothing to play for, that's for sure, as Caldwell sends this one wide. And Knights will attack down the left early on here. Burkic was impressive going forward at times last week before South really shut things down in the second half. Corderuccio, of course, scored the opener. Knights really had the better of the opening 20 minutes. That was where it peaked for them as Walpole looks to get involved down the right. And just takes his eye off the ball. And behind it rolls for a goal kick.
Walpole was a player had a very good first half last week, as to be fair did most of the Glenorchy Knights players. That first sort of 30 minutes, they were firmly on top with Corderuccio bobbing up for a goal. It certainly took me by surprise seeing him that far forward on the counter-attack, but good to see the more defensive-minded of Knights midfield pushing forward on that occasion. Yeah, that second half performance, not the best from the Knights. South really got on top of them there, and they'll be looking to play out the full 90 minutes plus extra here tonight. Let's get this one forward. Calls for offside, not given. Redfern on this occasion trying to centre it and just can't quite get it to his teammate. Wardwell there waiting in the box, who hoped to have a bit better service this week than last week. He's been one of Knights' best players so far this season, as Stephen Caldwell, but didn't get a great deal of service last week. Knights switch to play through Corderuccio. Walpole right in front of the camera here. Jinking inside is Walpole. It's Corderuccio. Glover. Knights doing what they like to do and keeping possession early on. Harrison. Back out wide towards Caldwell, who peeled off out wide. Now right. And he really has Mees up ahead. Brings it back to an on-rushing Brown. Right. Also forward is Eli Wright. Jink one way, then the other. Schmidt for company. He manages to win the first corner of the game.
Nicely done from right there. I think he just assessed the options and decided he'll take a corner. Just laid it straight into the defender there. Saw the threat he possesses with his pace in behind on that run, and he's someone the Knights are going to have to pay close attention to. Connor Schmidt have to guard him carefully as Keenan Dowse comes across to take the corner. Very dangerous over the dead ball is Dowse. See if he can ask some early questions of this Knights central defence early on. He ends it near post, and he's done it again, has he? He snuck another one in, Keenan Dowse. It's the second in a few weeks for Dowse, the old Olympico number. He's making a habit of this. It's the Lions who take the lead in just the 5th minutes. Disaster at the near stick for Burden, and Dowse with a stunning opener.
Sound the Olympico klaxon for all the Olympico aficionados out there. Keenan Dowse, first corner of the game, and couldn't quite tell if there was a player on the near post or not there for the Knights. It looked pretty empty at first glance, and Burden got a hand to it, otherwise straight into the back of the net, and no one really at the front post. It's gone over the Knights player's head and then right through the hands of Burden. Lions with an early advantage. Knights now trying to get the immediate response through Dillon. Cross towards the back stick, just eludes Russian Walpole, who'll retrieve it. Towards the back stick on the volley is Burkic, who got far up the field. But Keenan Dowse turning that into his specialty.
There's one good thing for the Knights. It's just how early this goal has come. It gives them plenty of time to respond. And as we mentioned pre-game, there have been no shortage of scoring opportunities in Knights v Lions games this season. But just one that wasn't dealt with at all at the near post. Harrison was there. I think he thought Burden had it covered. In the end, just sneaks on in. And at least 2 goals. I still wouldn't rule them out of the title race. In the South Hobart Devonport game tomorrow, it would certainly make things uncomfortable, especially if South were to win that one. They'd probably be depending on Devonport winning the game at that point. When it would get very, very tight. But yeah, some early work here for the Knights to do as they dig themselves an early hole. See how they respond. See if They've maybe come out a little flat after last week. Long diagonal here. Over away. The Lions, whilst they don't have as much to play for as the Knights, I suspect would be after a smattering of revenge for the Laka Seljuk Cup final. The Knights through Burkic now, looking to get right back at him. Caldwell over his head. Drifts out the back. Walpole. Back to Caldwell. Mearns. Shot was blocked away. And Caldwell didn't quite get what he was looking for there, trying to play it off Downs for a corner. But alert to that was Greg Downs. Going for the goal kick, it rolls.
Go field. Electing to take a long goal kick here early on, not going for the shorter option that we've seen sides in the NPL Tasmania do so often. Just gets towards halfway and looking for Mees. Is he going to get pulled for the shirt pull there? He's not, and now see an on-rushing Eli Wright putting Schmidt on the back foot. Wright looking for a teammate. What about going from the shot? Well blocked there from Schmidt. Wright goes again up against Walpole. Can he keep it in? He does. Rounds come across from the far side. This time, Knights managed to prevent the corner and just about clear it out. Eventually, Tyler Harrison there's the big heave-ho. Redfern touch just about good enough to see it on rushing Caldwell. Thought about going himself, decided against it at the last minute. Back towards Walpole. Good ball towards the back stick. And it's surely foul for a push in the back there on the far end.
It's the likes of Redfern and Caldwell who need to lift here tonight for the Knights. They were starved somewhat of service last week, but they are such key attacking weapons for them. I mentioned Kemp being in the mix for the best and fairest. Caldwell will probably be favourite in my books heading into the count this year. I think he's been outstanding. But his colours lowered a little bit last week, and if they're going to get back on top of the table, they need a big night from Stefan Caldwell, I feel.
Yeah, that MVP voting's going to be very, very interesting this year. As you mentioned, Kemp has been in good form as ball goes all the way out to Wright, who is offside. He did seem to be quite ahead of the play there. But yeah, you've got Kemp, Redfern and Caldwell. I wouldn't be surprised just picking up a fair few three voters. It'd be Thierry Swaby up at Launceston City. Picking up
Nick Morton, probably the other one.
Morton as well. Yeah, it's definitely been a year where that kind of midfield or winger has really dominated the competition in terms of best on ground performances. See what happens there in a couple of weeks' time. Still a couple of games to go. Looking to get a few extra votes in that. Is it still called the Mitsubishi Medal, or are we calling it MVP?
I don't think so. I'm not 100% sure. That's long since stopped being my domain as this one's rolled wide. This is Burkic now. Runs it through. Still eluding Well there. Now Hess back the other way. Right. Easy early on for the Lions. Considerable promise. Downs bending that one and kept in by Connor Schmidt. Pressing up. Oh, now out of the back. Misplaces that one. Brown. Yes. Lama, the former Knight. Rushed into there by Caldwell. Kobe Kemp. A significant real involvement from Kobe Kemp this evening. Rolls it along to Brown, who lofts it over the top. Trying to spring right. Schmidt defending that one expertly. Stops for safety first.
It's nice. There's a couple of situations where you would think either a pass or a header or a chest back to the keeper for the Knights was on and not choosing to. We definitely saw last year and the year before Knights when they'd switched the play from one side to the other, often used the keeper. Green just not being higher on his line as some of their previous keepers, as that pass goes out there from Greg Downs. Throw in taken quickly. Now as Mearns. Out wide towards Burkic. James Sherman there. Marking instructions as always, announced he's leaving Knights recently as Coach Sherman. Redfern keeps that one in, probably wanted to play that one low on the deck, but the header goes there, good save from Schofield. Huge salute with the block. Burkic coming up all the way from left back to get that header on target. Good first save for the young Lions keeper.
This is his first test well there, Lockie Schofield. That wasn't the easiest save, reacted sharply to it. The Knights looking to hit back there. Glad to have made that one. Had a good stop towards the end of last week's game. Nice little kick save at his near post. It's admittedly all I've seen of Lockie Schofield. Don't know too much about him. Kawano left rather large shoes to fill. He's been very impressive this year in the Lions net since he kind of won that starting job earlier on in the year. He's really been one of the shining lights for the Kingborough Lions this season. Walpole forced backwards. 2 Friday night NPL games going on as Redfern sends this one across to Dylan, who'll think about the shot. Dylan, comfortable enough for Schofield. Another one up in the north, Riverside Olympic with an early lead over Launceston United in that one. Galton Hill United having broken the duck last week.
Yeah, first win in, it was 37 NPL games or in that range last week against the Clarence Zebras. Winning 3-1 on that occasion. Third goal scored while the Zebras keeper was up for the corner, which is some NPL areas you really do like when the keeper comes up for the corner, particularly in a league game.
Tell you what, he nearly scored too.
Big fan of that is Redford now with the shot low one and safely collected again by Schofield, almost a carbon copy of the one before. No doubt there'll be plenty of spice in that Launceston derby going on up there. They do like their Friday night encounters for those local rivalries up there. Usually get a good crowd in, and hopefully it's the same up at Windsor Park as Redfern now turns away from Downs, tries to go past Huxley, has Lutmer for company, and Schofield. Good save in a matter of 3 minutes there for the young keeper. All of them in the comfortable section, but good to see Knights starting to get some shots on target as the graphic shows.
Yeah, that'd be the fourth one, wasn't it? The header as well.
Header as well, yep.
Yeah, they've started to find some room at the back here all of a sudden, the Glenorchy Knights. We did suggest that they would have their opportunities after going a goal down. Not able to take one yet, just a little too central with some of their shooting, but the Lions, red lights on the dashboard just in the last few minutes, I'd suggest they're going to need to correct. They won't stay at 1-0 for too much longer if they keep giving up scoring looks like that. This one's back into the mixer, volleyed forward by Hess. Brown herring out after it. Glover comfortably enough this time. Sends it through to Berta, and away they go now. They're in Burkic, marauding forwards. Off that one over the top though of Douse. There's Huxley. Veteran out of the Lions defence here. Was a Glenorchy Knight player many moons ago. Schwartz swings this one across. Get on the ball, Aldo Schwartz and Kobe Kemp. That was really well read by Burkic. Saw Kemp's intent and shut it down. And that's a professional foul there from Eli Lutmer. Just clipped the leg, and probably not a bad one to give.
It's one of the things that free kick taken a little too quickly with the Lions, probably the most, well, if not the most experienced squads in the NPL Tasmania. Plenty of players who've been around for a while, the likes of Kemp and Lutmer and Huxley, Downs and Hess, all significantly adding the average age up of the general competition in that COVID era. And that particular, the league got very young there for a while. It seems like Knights as well, a few more experienced players being signed this year. I think that's certainly helped towards the evenness of the competition this year is right. Looking for another option, goes on the left peg, this time nearly knocked in by Harrison, on Mees coming in between the two centre-backs as well. It's across, comfortable, the young Angus Burden, good confident call. Glover ducked underneath that one. But most of Lions' attacks have come down this left-hand side so far in the first 15 minutes. Schmidt manages to knock that one on. Walpole furthest forward. Now Redfern with a chance to get on his bike. Redfern into the box, opts to centre it, and that one over the top again. This time Stephen Caldwell not getting the shot on target, and he's hit that one over the house and into the car park.
Yeah, a bit reminiscent of nights from earlier in the year. That's some lovely flowing football, just the end product not quite there. Seemed to be an area that improved on as the season had worn on, but of Caldwell's call, they really should be doing better than that, at least getting it on the target. He skied that one horribly. But, lovely work from Redfern, getting him behind down the right, driving him behind this Lions defence, but again, the chances are flowing at the moment for the Knights. They can't take one for now, though, and as such, I think a goal adrift after Keenan Dowse's Olympic go. He's been the Lions' most lively threat thus far in Eli Wright. Stays in play. Schwartz recycles it out the back to Hughes-Loop. Lutmer, central defensive pairing. Kemp. He's tried to go around Burkitt, wasn't having any of that. They look to spring back the other way. Lining up in the middle here for Redfern. He cuts it back looking for Caldwell. Stretching to repel was Hughes-Loop. Think back into the top of the box, and Hughes-Loop with a big diving header. Not sure about the necessity of it, but full marks for the aesthetics. Now it's Walpole. Mearns. Mauricio. He just a retreat back. Tyler Harrison. Good patience being shown here from the Knights. They're content to just recycle it out the back, change the point of attack if they need to. So here now on the left-hand flank. A couple in the middle. Shut down though by Dowse. To Mearns. Dinks it for Riley Dillon. He's shadowing him. All that comes to nothing as they just cough the ball up a little softly. Kemp get something going back the other way. Swings it, looking for Wright, stepping in Harrison. Neither side just able to keep a hold of the ball. Mees worked off it beautifully by Glover.
I know that the far side here at KG5 is a construction site, but this means people have to completely avoid it as Walpole this time goes towards the byline, has Downs for company, just manages to get round him. Strong tackle there from Hughes-Loop. This one thumped forward, looking for Wright, but Riley Dillon and Nick Mearns and people sort of playing in that centre left channel as you attack for the Knights, and the ball wasn't really gone down that direction too often. Burkitt has had a fair few touches. Just between that real width there, just inside. I've not seen the ball go through there in attacking sense much so far in the first 20 minutes. Glenorchy certainly seen plenty of the ball. Walpole. Downs pushing him back towards halfway. This time the ball goes central and Dillon gets a touch. Intercepted the lines as collects that one, and as mentioned before, it's Matty Hess rather than Alfred Hess in the starting lineup tonight. Despite being player coach, he certainly starred himself in more games this year than not, as Freddie Hess is surely a foul committed by Eli Lutmer, and no doubt that'll be a talking to. Cynical rather than malicious challenge there, and 20 minutes in, probably just please don't do that again from Brenton Copra.
Did look to be a bit of a final warning. That's his second one of that ilk. Perhaps saying no more next time you go into the book. He's an experienced customer, Eli Lutmer. Just know when to concede them. And Hughes-Loop, good duo at the back. The cup final did swing a little bit when Hughes-Loop went off. Looked a bit more vulnerable at the back. See if his hamstrings can hold up tonight as the Knights look to attack down the left here. chance to get a cross in, but poor delivery easily broken up by Downs. He'll launch this one. He's looking for Wright. Schmidt beating him in the air. Burns. I was expecting Schmidt to have continued his 4-0-4 there. Not on the same page. There's the look away pass there from Nick Mearns, I think. So the threat of Eli Wright, Schmidt content just to sit back and make sure he did not have that space to run into.
Yeah, Freddie Hess will be very happy to see that tactic. Connor Schmidt spent most of the last 10 years bombing down the right-hand flank for both Knights and South, and rare to see hesitation in doing that from the Knights defender. Probably chalk that up as a small tactical win for Freddie Hess for the moment and the Lions squad. Worried about that pace of Eli Wright, who's been the Lions' breakout player of the year. Nice. Pass is cut out by Mearns. Stuck in a Lions sandwich. No foul given. Schwartz leaves that one for Kemp. On the feet this time, facing backwards as Downs retains possession for the Lions, and Lutmer goes the big sweeping ball forward. Brown not quite on the same wavelength. Easy one. The burden to collect as Harrison doesn't like the look of his options. Get that one in play as they're going to give that one against Jacob Huxley, who's not terribly happy about that decision, and as always, Iggy will let the referee know what he thinks about that.
I'll have a case there, I think. Doesn't seem to be a whole lot in it for mine.
I think so as well.
Down very easily, it must be said. Leaned on him slightly, and that was it. But presents Riley Dillon with an opportunity to get to work.
It was like one of those ones where they run 15 yards the opposite direction to Shield. He's already there.
So Glenorchy also joining the committee, but Nancy Dillon will be the man to take. The body's forward here. Teasing the ball in. The turn. Wardwell. Lutmer did well just to see that away from Glover. It's behind for a corner. Where he has shown some goal scoring capabilities at times from set pieces this year. Scored against the Lions earlier this year at KG5, in fact. The one they might look for this corner. They opt to take it short. And the shot from distance, and again, straight down the throat of Lockie Schofield, who's showing an assured pair of hands thus far.
It really is. And also helps when you get to make 4 identical saves, and it almost just looks like you've played the same shot on goal 4 times so far with the way Schofield's made a fairly technically sound save. As the Knights managed to get possession back quickly. They've certainly had the majority of possession the last 5 to 10 minutes as Walpole skips past Downs. And he's back giving chase. Got to be careful not to nudge him too hard, and does nudge him, but not given on this occasion. As Schwartz knocks it forward towards right. Good slide challenge there from Corderuccio, textbook on the artificial pitch. Back out wide. Dillon leaves it for Burkic. All waiting in the box. Right. Electing to cross early and eventually get it back out to the left-hand side. This time Burkic will cross. Redfern are going to rise high and gets there, but goes over the top. Another good chance for the Knights goes begging, and did they potentially have an even better chance from the penalty spot earlier?
Well, I mean, it would have been fairly soft, I feel, but given the foul Huxley conceded about 30 seconds earlier, it was almost, I was a little surprised it wasn't blown.
You could see how Downs was running, that he was probably going to use a forearm to nudge in the back. It was always going to depend on the severity of said nudge, but you could see that was sort of coming from a mile away, really.
Yeah, had it been blown, he probably couldn't have had too many complaints. He was on the softer side, but he certainly gave Copra something to consider there, as this one's broken up. The Knights really knocking on the door here at the moment. Redfern now surrounded by Lions, so just backs off and buys a little bit of room. Lions with Caldwell. He waits for the overlapping Burkic. Swings it in, but that's a position Redfern probably would have been in generally. He'd Peeled off wide. Might not be the worst idea to get a few crosses in there. Schofield doing well with the handling so far, but fairly short stature for a goalkeeper. Certainly not shorter than Redfern. An opportunity to maybe ping some balls onto his head.
Yeah, look, I'm not a tactical mastermind by any stretch of the imagination, but if I saw it was a keeper who'd played 15 minutes of NPL football full stop and was under 6 foot, I'd be putting just a few crosses in the first 20 minutes. It's not the most inventive tactic of all time, but certainly makes the defence think as Walpole crosses charged down. But so far, Schofield handled pretty much everything that's come his way. Perfect so far, as shirt pull will be called. Can't fault his performance so far. At least the Knights have another free kick in an attacking position.
Just this sort of one, I reckon, rather than playing the balls to the top of the box, curling him in there, I'd be tempted to just try and stick it on the head of the keeper and try and get a couple of the big fellas up in his path.
Left foot in swinger as well, rather than Riley's right-footed outswingers potentially as well. And this angle wouldn't go astray. And particularly from set pieces, don't necessarily mean it in open play to do it every 5 seconds, but from a set piece, it certainly can't hurt. Riccio gets a bit more loft on this one and gets too much loft on it on this occasion. Caldwell will run out to collect. This time, low pass towards Redfern. Mertens touches a bit heavy and one person cheering at that goal, despite the fact it was clearly out of play.
Well, they converted one. So no pressure on that one. Love that occasion. Everyone, of course, having stopped there. Might see a bit of long ball into the box tomorrow at Darcy Street if Tom Ballantyne's to be believed this morning. The name Miles Barnard was mentioned. I don't know if he's just trying to fox the South Hobart coaching staff or whether he was deadly serious when he said we've got 2 game plans tomorrow. One of them will be very different, featuring Miles Barnard. So here's a chance at the other end for right. They're broken like lightning. Right! Oh my goodness, that's nearly dipped in. That was inches wide from Eli Wright. He's flashed dangerously, and that's about the first time in the last 10 minutes the Lions have ventured in their own half. And they broke with speed and nearly doubled their lead.
See, the tactic of keeping Eli Wright as high up as possible is working a treat here for the Lions. Won the corner that the goal came from, and that agonisingly close to the top corner. And it would have been a picture-perfect goal. Had the right amount of curve on it, but just missing the direction by not a great deal. And that's the worry for the Knights. Whilst most of the chances haven't necessarily been gilt-edged one-on-ones, there's been plenty of half chances in the last 15 minutes, and the further don't convert, Lions always dangerous on the break. There's Redfern now, outside of the foot pass towards Burkic. Dylan lurking at the penalty spot. Nearly ends up with him. Lions managed to clear. Right, trying to turn and run upfield, but Schmidt forces him back. Right, regain possession as Redfern dropping deeper and deeper to get on the ball as Walpole's ball's chipped high in the air. Well cleared by Lutmer. Burns. Another little dig towards the near post. Headed clear again. And a few Bronx cheers for that one. That goes out for a throw-in. And I mean, I don't know if Tom Ballantyne's being serious about the Fox in the box, but any Fox sighting certainly will get me interested in that game tomorrow. I mean, top of the table clash already, but prospect of Miles Barnard back in the NPL Tasmania. He's been banging in goals for fun in the under-21s as one of the overage players in that competition. He's probably pleading the odds he's not under 21. He's certainly got some form in that competition. It'll be very interesting to see if he's on the bench tomorrow, as right now with another chance. Thought about curling it towards that top corner. Lays it off for Kemp, who tried to find Brown. All cut out from Burkic, and Burns gets it forward towards Corderuccio. Knights Decide to go forward ball early. Obviously, what Ballantyne's referring to there is sort of their usual plan A for most of the Strikers games this year, and plan B is firmly British, I assume, 9th league tier lump it forward tactic, as Darcy Street and Valley Road sharing some commonalities in the moment in terms of ground condition at the moment.
Certainly appeared to the implication, and look, I think if the weather forecast for the next 24 hours is to be believed, that may well be in store. It'll be another interesting one. Last time they played, no one could keep their feet at Darcy Street, and be very interesting conditions. Of course, the big news out of Darcy Street breaking earlier today, Ken Morton, what a great storied career he's had as coach down here in Tasmania, the most successful NPL Tasmania coach. He'll be calling it a day at season's end. How dearly he would love to end with another league title, as Redfern gets the byline, cuts it back. Hugh Slute's been excellent so far, and he cuts that one out. Nice looking to do likewise before James Sherman heads overseas. So that one's curled to the top of the box. Lutmer sees it clear. Certainly be some new faces in the managerial scene next year. It's going to be damn odd seeing a different face prowling South Hobart's coaching area, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, quite a local football enthusiast. Who on earth are going to be our coaches next year, which was a hot topic of conversation this morning, as Kemp towards Beasley's shot, charged down. This time, Burns comes back to collect. You know, when thoughts of NPL Tasmania coaching changes is making the coffee shops of Ginger Brown of a Friday morning. Big news here in Tasmania. All change coming soon. Obviously, Ken Morton, cryptically worded release, saying he's stepping out from South Hobart, potentially leaving the door ajar for some movement elsewhere. There's the Silver Fox. Obviously, Sherman announcing he's leaving the Knights earlier.
Give you long odds on that.
Yeah. It was worth trying to stir the pot.
always. It's the Knights looking to find an equaliser here. 33 minutes gone in arrears. They're going to end Sherman's reign with the title. They need to find some goals here this evening. Here's Walpole. Squares it up. Riccio, a little ball for Schmidt. Bends it in towards the back post. Back centrally. Mearns is always rising. It's high and well over the top from Nick Mearns. As again, the half chances continue to mount.
Certainly, and Mearns, it did sit up nicely, to be honest. Top of the box, furthest forward we've really seen Mearns so far in this first half. 34 minutes gone. But yes, there's such a thrilling title race in the offing. Then we've got the coaching carousel as well, probably the transfer market to come with it. It's going to be a big 6 months or so for the NPL Tasmania. Burkic going to hit that one back to the keeper. Look forward to see where James Sherman ends up as well, leaving Knights after storing the club after their relegation, and probably one of the leaner periods in their entire history, dating back to the late 50s and early 60s. Lack of cup wins and NPL Tasmania club wins will also go down as one of the best coaches in the club's history, and there have been a few good ones in the past. But now, for the moment, it's got 55 minutes to try and find a couple of goals to keep this year's title race alive. Walpole finding how to play with that one. Towns taking a few yards. And Walpole getting the throw in on that occasion. This time Schwartz. This time ball towards Eli Wright. Gets there in front of Harrison. Just has Noah Mees peeling off, now making the diagonal run. Pass was blocked, and Corderuccio getting a toe in to good effect as Dylan gets a touch deep in his own half, and in the end Forward ball is a good one. Redfern chases. And kick has been blown on that occasion.
High boot maybe against the keeper there. Well, it'll be the Lions ball here. They've certainly looked a threat on the counter-attack. Despite a pretty good period in the match, the Glenorchy Knights, they can't get too comfortable because every time they are going forward, they're looking quite lively. Really low right. He continues to impress. Caldwell shut down there by Lutmer. Now Kobe Kemp. Downs. Sends it wide, looking for Schwartz, who's burst forward. He'll just hold up and swing this one in near post. Rising to head clear. And then Lions throw. Downs across to take. 27 minutes tick by in the opening half. Keenan Dowse with the lone goal 5 minutes into this one. Leaves the Knights with their backs up against the wall in the title race. Deep ball. Behind it goes for a corner. Some more defending to do here for the Knights. At least it can't be a Keenan Dowse Olympico surely from this side. So Brown will come across to take it on the left. Just don't have that to worry themselves with. Just going to come across and take this one anyway.
Takes it with the opposite foot potentially? No.
You got a little kind of Ronaldo swerve, we'll see. We thought this would be the more regulation cross, although you'd be keen to test the keeper out. He does do just that. Swung it in deep towards Kemp, but a foul had been blown. It's Kobe Kemp. And the kick will be in the way of Knights. Moving quickly via Burden. Schmidt now. His hands out as if to say, somebody move for me, give me an option. That's not a sign you want to see if you're a Glenorchy Knights fan. 38 minutes into this one. Mearns. Sends it wide. And left they go again. Something going. Dylan. Glenorchy. Ball for Burkic. Mearns. New shut down. It's all rather pondersome at the moment from the Knights.
Especially when the coach is yelling out quickly, quickly from the sideline. I was about to say this is a really slow build-up, as that's a bit better from the Knights. As Burkic this time goes towards the back stick, and that one's going to skid a fair bit. Walpole left to slide to keep that one in, but didn't quite get that on that occasion. Just, yeah, yelling quickly, quickly there with Sherburn, and eventually Harrison and Redfern combined to create some space, but there wasn't a great deal happening before that on that occasion. Lions throw. See it back to the Knights fairly quickly. Cleared by Dowse. Burkic. Take the throw rather than keep it in. Orderuccio. Towards Harrison. Walpole. Taking a run from Redfern. Peeled off and crosses this one centrally. Good punch from Schofield. This time falls to Mearns at the top of the box. Kemp. Shutting down Redfern. Stays on side. Gets on the left peg and gets that one into the clubhouse. But a good confident punch there from Lockie Schofield.
Impressed by the young man so far. Stepping up under the pressure. He's had plenty of work to do, but passing with flying colours thus far.
Definitely. There's been another score up north as we go quickly around the grounds.
Yeah, 2-0 the way of Riverside Olympic in the derby up in the north. One approaching half-time. Kicked off at the same time as this one, so the Rouge well on the way in front of their home faithful up there. Pushing this one high. Burkic should by Brown. Just treat back to Bird. 5 minutes of the half. Can Knights find a way to hit back before the break? Of course, it was before half-time last week where they were rocked by Austin Yost. He flipped that one on its head. Goals either side of half-time for South Hobart. Signing them to second as Burkic now charging forward. Dangerous ball. It might sit. Here's a chance. Oh, brilliantly blocked there by Lutmer to deny Caldwell. Just flung himself in the way. That's a crucial intervention from Eli Lutmer, and that is why he's so highly regarded.
Body on the line stuff there from Eli Lutmer. That was shaping up nicely there for the Knights in that first or so minute where they conceded last week. And this time stuck out the left peg. And it's a good save from Lutmer. There's a bit of power behind that. Needed a good save from Schofield as this one goes over the top. Porteruccio skips between two, tries to get past a third, can't quite keep it in, but does well to make it a throw-in rather than a corner. Lutmer there again. There's throw-in. It's long from Douse. This time ball. Right. He'll try and get the return ball, but just to split the two attacking lines in Mees and Wright as Paul waits. Passes forward towards Redfern, stays on side. He's got plenty of time to shape the cross. Goes towards the back stick, is a good one. Towards the feet off the post. Schofield beaten all ends up on that occasion. This one blocked. And the post comes to the Lions' rescue, and the break could be on here for the Lions. Brown charging through the middle. There's Harrison to beat, but lays it out towards Wright, who this time is offside. But that was a smashing hit from the Knights off the post. And still stays 1-0.
Crossbar still shaking. After that hit from Caldwell, they just haven't been able to convert here. The Knights are getting closer and closer. You sense the goal is coming. The Lions, I feel, would take half time if it were offered to them, but still Glenorchy Knights remain in arrears in this match. A match they simply need to win. Wanted out of play by Lutmer. So in the air, a few performances just a tad wasteful. Back to bite them later in the match. Be the case here this evening. Certainly had no problems creating scoring looks thus far. Porteruccio. The goal has to come eventually. Could it come here now? Dangerous Caldwell once again. Cut it back and deflected behind for another corner. Just the Lions defence being tested. That one will take this minute of regulation time in the first half. Get themselves back on terms. Into the Sheds level. Big lift to morale. Burns just overhitting that one. Dillon, isn't a bad idea, just a bit too much pepper on the pass. Another goal kick. That's faithful in the building there. Probably a little nervy at this moment in time, I'd have thought, Paul.
Yeah, I certainly think so, as Schofield doing well and taking a decent amount of time to take that goal kick. Notice they've pretty much abandoned all the short goal kicks so far in this game, the Lions. They're so used to that tactic these days. Hess punts that one forward, manages to find a teammate. Wright with two for company. Splits the middle, does Eli Wright, and does really well, the youngster. Charging in on goal, Burton just past his outstretched hand. Also just past the goal mouth as well. Needed a third Lions player there charging in at the back post. Fantastic skill from Wright. That's where the stoppage time in this first half. Can't imagine there'll be anything outside of the ordinary 1 minute of time. Douse skips past two. There's a short towards Schwartz. Good challenge, I thought, there from Burns. That got most of the ball, or all of the ball. Play on given. One last chance here for the Knights. Walpole charging forward. Staying on side is Caldwell, and Downs. And he got there at the second bite of the cherry and then shields that one out of play expertly. It was Greg Downs. Caldwell particularly happy with how that one ended up. Good experience defending there from Downs. Being the last kick of the first half. And that will be it for the first half here at KG5. Glenorchy Knights trying to keep their title chase alive. 1-0 down to the Kingborough Lions. Kingborough seeking some revenge for the Selchek Cup final defeat and doing rather well so far in this first half, Andrew.
Yeah, Keenan Dowse with the Olympico.
How do
5 minutes
icons
in
stay
as
relevant?
the quarter pounder brought to
They
you by McDonald's.
And there's nothing like bacon and
Let them
crispy
have theirs for you
onions for
first.
reinventing yourself. Now you have 3 icons to try.
3 icons and more than 3 very good chances squandered by the Glenorchy Knights in that first half. They were really creative
Our
looks.
Cafe blend isn't just barista crafted across Australia. Our beans are also sourced from Kenya.
Right, apparently I'm coming over the top and back. This is all very new to me, Paul. This McDonald's ad over the top of the commentary. This wasn't around the slice of cheese days, that's for sure. But there are the stats. And you can see 10 shots there from the Glenorchy Knights, only 3 on target, all of them straight at the keeper. I think they've actually might have missed 1 or 2 there, to be honest. They've had more than that. Certainly, young Schofield has been well tested. They probably
How
should
do
have more
icons
goals.
stay relevant? They
McDonald's are certainly
evolve.
persistent with their advertising ball hunt. I'll give them that much. But the Lions have had some threat back the other way through Eli Wright, haven't they? For all of Knights' control, and the pattern of the game is pretty well established at this point. They've had chance after chance and missed it. But then every few minutes, the Lions spring back the other way and look really dangerous every time they do.
And certainly are. Usually it's the centre forward that you keep up top to charge him behind, but Lions just keeping Mees up and having him drop in and keeping Eli Wright as the furthest forward, and that's been their best outlet so far in this first half, and I imagine they'll probably end up doing the same in the second half, which will be 13 minutes and 7 McDonald's ads away for you there at home. We'll join you then soon. And for what should be a thrilling second half to see if the Knights can keep their title hopes alive.
It's not that cold. Not yet. At least it's not raining or whatever.
still half time.
Back for the second half here at KG5 as the Glenorchy Knights try and keep their title hopes alive. They're trailing the Kingborough Lions by 1-0 after 45 minutes. Keenan Dowse scoring an Olympico in the 5th minute. Since then, the Knights have had more than their fair share of opportunities, haven't been able to draw level. And the door very much ajar for the Lions here in the second half to cause a bit of an upset and deal what could be a mortal blow to the Knights' title hopes. You'd expect them, Paul Hunt, to be very much on their guard in the opening couple of minutes in the second half after what happened 7 days earlier at this venue.
You'd certainly think so. They would have learned from that experience last week with South scoring in the 47th minute last week. As it doesn't look like there's any changes out here, and the other thing I'm expecting is Knights, if it's still 1-0 down in the 70th minute, to really start throwing the kitchen sink at the Lions from there on. And really doesn't really matter in this, it's almost cup final territory if it stays like this. Doesn't really matter if you lose 2-0, you need to go try to make it 2-1 if that's to get the win, keep their title hopes alive. Doesn't look like any changes from either side at half-time. We were expecting any. As Knights take possession from the kickoff, and now Harrison launches the switch. The feet of Burkic. Burns, will be interesting if we see more of Nick Burns as this half goes on, particularly if he starts to push forward and he's almost more of a number 10 role as the game goes on, as Knees stays on side. Glover gets a toe in, does well. It's Noah Mees. Now Dillon. Really had one runner up ahead on that occasion, and Burkic bombs on from left back. This time, Brown comes back and cuts off the pass from Caldwell.
It's of course a scenario where if Knights get back, draw this game, and then Devonport win tomorrow, you'd have all three tied on 41 points heading into the final 2 weeks, which would be the ultimate chaos scenario.
Don't mind it.
This one's threaded out wide. Henry Bain, that is. So the Knights have made one switch at the break here by the looks of things, Paul. We'll figure out who's come off there, but they've shuffled their deck slightly. This one's hit wide and broken up. So we'll see if we can figure out who's made way.
I haven't seen Walpole yet.
He's the one who was subbed out last week, so could be Walpole. This one's hit wide. And doing well, or is it Redfern who's going off there? There's Walpole on the ball now, so maybe Redfern, one of those players, could be injured. Here's Stefan Caldwell, a chance for an early strike here. Bain, his shot was blocked, and there's Riley Dillon. Did the flag go up? It did. Raised on Riley Dillon. And I would say, based off that attack there, that it is Josh Redfern who has made way. So a big blow. You've got to think that's injury related. James Sherman did mention he had a few players who were struggling a bit and wasn't sure what their fitness was going to be. And you'd have to think that Joshua Redfern is one of them. With that, he's a hammer blow for the Knights. As Dillon saunters forward. Still plenty of threat in this Knights attack though. Burkic shut down. There they go. And back to Mearns. Coloriccia. Easily cleared away. Schmidt. Harrison. to Glenorchy. Burns. Nurkic. He slows here as Knights probe away. Look for the opening. Tyler Harrison now pulls the trigger with the diagonal into the box. Looking for Dylan. Douse just gets it behind for the corner.
Wondering where his keeper was on that occasion, Douse, but safely out for a corner kick. And as you mentioned, you'd have to think that is injury related. I can't really think of why you'd take Redfern off if it was an injury. It's Mearns towards Glenorchy, gets the ball back. Falcons off the head. The Lions defender, Mearns lobs this one in. Dylan on the volley, well blocked again by the Lions defence. Has another pop as Dylan. He got a third go, but this time Hugh Sloop thumps it clear. He's wins the header, but Schmidt, last one back. Downs puts that one into the scaffolding as Bain will be interesting to see if he plays a role as a like-for-like comparison to Redfern, or that will see the Knights attack in different ways throughout this second half. What if we end up with all three on 41 points? That will be some fantastic areas for the NPL Tasmania with only a couple of rounds to go. Rare to see that situation occur. Certainly haven't had really anything like that in the NPL Tas era. Such chaos as Harrison manages to pass through the lines towards Mearns. Wants an option out wide. Eventually lays it out. As the cross goes in towards the back post, and Dylan heads over. Another good chance for the Knights goes begging. It was hit with some pace, only had to guide it. Unfortunately guided it over the crossbar.
Yeah, just couldn't quite keep it down. Certainly a sharp chance for Dylan. Very, very tough one there. Plenty of pace on it, but yeah, if they were to draw tonight, then, you know, Devonport win. It should be noted the Knights do have a significant goal difference advantage. So in that 41-41-41 scenario, the fate goes back into their hands. They basically win their final two, they would win the title. The final day, of course, includes the fixture against the Devonport Strikers. South Hobart have got the probably two winnable games in their final 2 weeks, but if they were to lose to Devonport tomorrow, it's one of the permutations at play. Makes getting a point particularly important for South. Possibly take the Strikers out of the race. It's really could go so many different ways, and it starts with this next 40 minutes. It's going to shape what is to come over the final few weeks. Knights will be desperate to at least get 1 point out of it. Could well be an absolutely crucial point for them in that regard. Burkic. Even if they don't win tonight, they're probably going to need Devonport to get a result tomorrow anyway. So, got to at least make sure they get 1 point from this one. They dearly like all three, though. It goes without saying. Should pile the pressure onto South Hobart tomorrow. Then they would need to win against Devonport, not just settle for a draw. So that's comfortably through for Burton. But as we said earlier in the first half, it's going to be very tough for anyone to play any sort of football potentially tomorrow at Darcy Straits.
Yeah, I went past earlier today, and look, we've got forecasts of about 15 to 20 mil of rain here in Hobart for overnight and tomorrow morning, and Darcy Street's not looking the best. It's not quite at the era. There's a great video of the old Southern Premier League in about 2010. There's a game v South v Olympia, and it is an absolute mud pit. It's not quite that bad. Early 2010s bad, but it's not in the best nick of all time, as Dylan, who's been more lively in the second half than the first so far. Caldwell knocks it off a Lions player for a corner kick, so territory in an attacking sense for the Knights, going pretty well so far in this second half, as they take that one so quick. None of the defenders had run up yet, so there's only two in the box to aim for, really. Versus 6 Lions defenders, it made it rather easy to clear, as now the Lions are on the attack. Schwartz lays one out wide for Brown. Harrison tidies up comfortably.
Imagining the chaos on the final day if they were all tied on 41, where potentially Knights and Devonport both need to win. A draw does them absolutely no good if South win their final two, and so both just need to win and throw the kitchen sink in second half of that scenario.
Yeah,
Who knows if it will come to it, but
South Hobart playing Launceston City at Darcy Street on the final day, which, as you mentioned, is more winnable. Lonnie City have pulled off a couple of have had a good result up at games against South Hobart in Launceston so far this year, and that one goes easily through to Purdon. Did have I remember a rare win at Darcy Street one year, many years ago, where it was probably their biggest win of the year. Was it? I think they ground out a 1-0. A great Lockie Clark keeping performance from memory. I can't remember what year that was, but it's the first slice of cheese dished out for the even by Brenton Copra on Schwartz.
well, they've done them twice this year because they knocked them out of the Lacka Seljuk
Cup
Cup
as
as well and beating him in the league. So while South would be warm favourites in that one, far from a foregone conclusion, that is. Just the easier fixture, and obviously Knights and Devonport playing each other, but Knights City probably won't have much to play for. But the City of Launceston has not been kind to South Hobart this year. Would there be one final twist in there? Will any of it matter? Who knows what's going to go down in the next 2 weeks? Who knows what's going to happen in the next 36 minutes? Can Glenorchy Knights find a way to break through the lines here? They're threatening at the moment through Dillon. Found its way through to Bain. Knocks it to Caldwell. Now Walpole. Onto the post again. Burkitt squares it up. Riley Dillon squares the game. And they do get their breakthrough. Riley Dillon, it had been coming. They had been knocking on the door. And the title race swings again. 1-1. And on the live ladder, on goal difference, Glenorchy Knights are back on top.
We're saying that Riley Dillon's been a lot more involved in the second half than the first, and that's a great way to get involved. Good first time finish. Schofield from close range. Dillon having a word with the Lions faithful at the end there, just letting Copra know. Wait a minute for this one to get sorted, but a sharp finish from Dillon. Had that slightly harder chance in the first half.
If they are all Lions fans, Riley Dillon went straight over to them. The rest of the team were celebrating. Dillon just pointed at one and ran straight to them.
There was a little bit going on in the first half as well from one of those times as well. Was it Burkitt had scored or Dillon? We had the graphic up as Burkitt.
I was pretty sure it was Dillon, although I'll confirm for you on replay, but yeah, it's Dillon.
The graphic slightly threw me there for a second. Definitely Riley Dillon scoring on that occasion.
I reckon the people doing the graphics were watching the vision and saw Burkitt running back and missed Dillon after scoring, just going right to the fans. But something has clearly gone on between he and the Lions fans. He might have been receiving a bit of chirp from them throughout the game, and he's let them know all about his equaliser there. And Copra just putting a lid back on things, but hopefully nothing too untoward.
Taking a couple, will certainly add some more Copra time to the end of this game. It's added a good couple of minutes. Way to get back underway here. And sub for the Lions. By the looks of it. Oh. Slightly distracted by the goings on of behind the goal there. Just making sure everything's in order before we get back underway. He does so now. Kemp. There's that one back, and it's thumped forward. Easily cleared by Glover. This time Burkitt wins the header. Turning to run and chases Dillon up against Dowse. Jinks inside and lays the ball out wide. Knights showing a lot better attacking intent so far, as it's a good move by Walpole. Crosses charge down. Again, Knights managed to retrieve. There's Mearns. Doesn't like he sees on that side and will cycle it out the other way. And looking for Burkic bombing on. Right, forced to chase back. Good cross in. Kept alive by Caldwell. This one chipped high up in the air. Right. Manages to clear.
Under siege at the back in this second half. The Lions, they've barely gotten out of their final third here as the Knights push on to try and find the go-ahead goal. They'll put them 2 points clear on top. Looking a little sharper in attack, it must be said so far in this half. Riley Dillon really starting to get involved too. Was on the peripheries in the first half, but been heavily involved in their attacking moves here. Just more zip on the ball in the final third at the moment. Another ball in towards Walpole here. And find Bain. Downs sees it away, but they can't get it out of their own end. As the Knights continue. Just box them in here. Glenorchy. Love it. Right now, Burkic squares it up for Mearns. Just misplaced a tad, but they can't counter back the other way. Glenorchy drops it off for Caldwell. Surrounded by Lions shirts there. Not sure what he was going for there, but quite come off. Can the Lions something going back the other way here? Again, it's shut down. Those sharp counters of the first half have dissipated. Now they're just giving the ball back to Knights, who are doing all the attacking, but now perhaps an opening for Wright for the first time this half as he tracks this one down. He was a live wire in the first 45. Eli Wright having a run at Harrison, who blocks his shot away. Knights should be able to regain control of the ball here. Caldwell puts it over the top, opened up by Hess. Douse. Wright. Here to take on Mearns. Weaving one way, then the other. Rolling it through for Mees. Lays it back for Schwartz! And the Lions respond immediately. Otto Schwartz makes it 2-1, and just as the Knights had got back on terms, Otto Schwartz restores their advantage.
First time really all half. Eli Wright's managed to get in behind and did so twice in 30 seconds. Passed it to Mees. I was curious that Mees didn't try to turn and shoot himself, but clearly saw a good option in Otto Schwartz, and that is a great finish from the Lions midfielder. Good response there from the Lions after undergoing a pretty sustained period of pressure in this second half. And gee, they get the game underway a lot quicker than last time. Here, the Knights immediately back on the attack as Burkic trying to put the Lions back on the back foot. I was noticing the Lions' defensive line dropping deeper and deeper as that half ball on, but one clearance to the speedy winger. 20 seconds later, they're back on the score sheet as this time Burkic tries to switch of play. And that one headed out.
They hadn't gone forward in the first 15 minutes. That was their first foray.
I don't think they hadn't even entered the 18-yard box or anything really in this second half. Again, Lions been a lot better with their finishing so far in this game than the Knights. So the Knights were already in double figures for shots, even just in that first half. Now, back a goal behind and no longer on top of the live NPL Tasmania ladder. There's Schmidt now. About going forward himself, and that'll be pulled back for the foul. Both players staying down. Schwartz, and the player on a slice of cheese so far.
Plenty of time to go in this one, and imagine after the stoppage from that last goal, going to be plenty of additional time as well. So time enough for the Knights. And they need to find at least one at that point. Try and at least make South Hobart earn themselves a point out of tomorrow's game. But they would dearly love 2 and all 3 points and really dial it up. Dillon headed away by Kemp. Bain brought down to the back post. Hughes Sleep with a despairing clearance, flung himself out there and gets it away. I'm worried the back tonight. The experienced Euclid. Bain. Busy since coming on. Redfern subbed out for him, we assume through injury. Schmidt. Diagonal, no real purchase on the Glover header.
See that height of Jack Glover there coming in handy with winning that ball in the air. Be curious if that ends up being a tactic later on in the game. He now receives the ball to his feet. There's Glover. Maruccio. All shut down by Jesse Hammond that's come on for the Lions. Now Mearns towards Dillon. Couldn't quite get the return ball. He's pulls his foot away, and now Burkic in behind the defence. Good ball across the box there from Burkic. Well cleared from Lutmer on that occasion. Out for a corner. Knights continuing to build some pressure. Knights players hovering around the corner. Looks like this one is going to go straight into the box, and it does. Oh, it deflects. The player wasn't quite expecting it. It's Burkic. Towards Mearns. Dillon. Tested header, that's not the best clearance, falls right to the feet of Harrison. And this time cleared away, but Tyler Harrison quite not expecting that one to his feet there, the centre back.
It's fair to say it wasn't Dowse's intent. That was a wild clearance. Very nearly a costly one, but no harm done in the end. A throw in for the Knights up the pitch once more as they resume their spell on the attack. Blocked away by the goal scorer Schwartz. And Sherman, touchline there, Penny for his thoughts. Knights boss. Just his third last game in charge of the Knights. Schmidt driving it in. Couldn't find the glancing header he was after and drifts out behind, giving good chase, but ultimately in vain there. As it is out of play. Bain, who's full of running since coming on. Lions in no rush in this half, I would have thought. Keen to take as many minutes out of the game as they can. Dowse sees it clear, only so far as Harrison. Confirmation of the sub that was made a while back. Hammond coming on for Brown. There's Glover. Mearns. Squared it up, but a poor ball in the end too. The sub Hammond lost it, but then a chance to run into some open space. The ball though too far ahead of him. Harrison assisting that one return to him quickly, and it's able to get it back in play. Every minute counts now for them. Cordoruccio, lovely ball. Burkic, Mearns. Now the return ball, but that was shut down. Back to Cordoruccio. Change it up and go down the right with Schmidt. Walpole. Back for Cordoruccio. Cordoruccio! Again, Schofield with a safe pair of hands, leaving no rebounds on the doorstep this evening, this young man. And he holds that one to his chest. Halfway point of the half. It's the Lions by a goal.
Are they actually going to come up for that, are they? Jumping and interference there on the keeper's clearance. See that one called too often. The NPL Taz. Schofield will have a second bite of the cherry. On the dead ball. Burns and Kemp going at it. That's a Glover. There you go, we get on Hess. People in the crowd not wanting a card there looked like at first glance it might have been more of a slip than a deliberate attempt at a challenge. Dowse heaving that one into the box, and Burden collecting that one. Not too much sauce on that one from Keenan Dowse, scorer of the first goal in the 5th minute. Gives the Lions the lead, and the lead managed to get back here in this second half. Knights really like 2 goals. They would settle for 1 depending on what the outcome is tomorrow at Darcy Street. Walpole now and down the right-hand side. One of the new change rooms here at KG5. Burns. Burkic. And given for offside on this occasion. 20 minutes and change to go. Probably at least, I imagine, 5 minutes of added time. 3 minutes for that. Working out after the goal, couple of subs. Add in Copra, probably 5. So call it 25 minutes left in this one.
I'd be disappointed if we got any less than 6 out of Brenton tonight, especially if it's a 1-goal difference heading in there. If it gets to 2, he's liable to maybe not pull it out, but
3 or 4 corners in a row if the ball's down one particular end as well.
Generally, man appreciates the spectacle, which is why we enjoy his work. Kobe Kemp caught late there by Nick Mearns, and that's a rather sharp cheddar there for Nick Mearns. Kemp still feeling that one. Mearns turning around to argue it. He knew he was going straight in the book for that one. Absolutely, no doubt. Right in front of our cameras there, giving some great insights. Keenan Dowse having a word with Mr. Coffer there.
It's good when you're on the sideline, on a Keenan Dowse sideline. Always entertaining.
Never short of a word, Keno, that's for sure.
Definitely not.
Kobe Kemp getting some treatment now, and he'll be, well, I doubt that he's genuinely sore after that. He got absolutely clattered, but he'll be in no rush to get up, and nor should he be.
No, definitely not.
We'll try and eat up some time here.
It's always a little bit harder, though, so to kill that time when you are about half an inch away from the sideline, because the referee can just say, just literally do that. You just lean over and feel the pain right there for me, please. It's always a hard one.
It does make it tougher. So Kemp back to his feet now. Dowse standing over this dead ball. They'd love to have Kobe in the middle as someone to target. Very good aerialist. Here's Kobe Kemp. Just a couple of jog throughs on the sideline, so that he'll be right to continue. Dowse in the meantime with the set piece to the back post, headed away. And they see it clear the Knights. Hess. Retreat there. The Hughes loop. Tried to sprint Kobe Kemp, who has recovered and is immediately trying to pressure Burkic. Lost his footing. And just making sure he gets a little revenge clip there. Getting his own licks in there, Kobe Kemp, but not enough to draw a booking of his own. Very shrewdly done.
Shrewd is the correct word. I imagine if that was a number 8 on the back rather than number 3, that might have had a little more pepper on it. It's good to see Kemp back out on the field. Captain of the Lions. Going to be crucial in this last 18 minutes plus here for the Lions to hold on. Burkic. Since that goal, the Lions, Knights have done a huge amount of attacking since then. Burns towards Schmidt now. Walpole going inside, getting past one. Can he get the cross in? Goes low, well cleared from Hughes Sloot. Hamstrings are holding up well so far this evening. Schmidt. Walpole now towards the byline. Gets past one. He has managed to win the corner. 6 red shirts already up in the box. They're starting to push players forward. The Knights. He's thought about taking it short quickly. Won't on this occasion. Ball goes towards the middle in the Glover direction. This time back in. Corderuccio from Schmidt. Only one back towards halfway from either side as he launches this one back in. Cleared by Lutmer. Headed further clear by Downs, but back towards Walpole. Another good challenge from Downs and another corner for the Knights. It's more like the pressure their fans in attendance are expecting.
Gonna really ramp it up here and find the equaliser that would send them back to the top of the table. Then they can worry about trying to extend that lead. For now, though, they just need to find themselves at least one. Swung in near post. Back towards Bain. Across to deal with him was Kemp. Schwartz didn't clear the area. Bain retreats to Burkic. Burkic. Caldwell's just trying to finesse one. Shouts for a penalty. And I think it's been given. Handball a call from Copra. And a slice of cheese to boot. And the Knights will have the opportunity to move back to the top of the table from the penalty spots.
Oh, Tyler Harrison stepping up for one of the most important penalty kicks of his career. Copra in no hesitation about calling for the penalty for that one. The slice of cheese was out pretty quickly as well from the cross. There's Bain who managed to keep it in. As it came in, Lutmer there just leaving an arm out. Was down by his side. I'm not going to pretend to interpret the current handball law. But Tyler Harrison here with a huge penalty kick to come.
The Knights skipper, his side, need him to convert. Denied! What a save from Schofield, but it's going to be retaken, is it? Or is it another penalty? I think it's another penalty, and that'll be a second yellow for Lutmer, and the Lions are down to 10. Extraordinary drama. Schofield makes the save, but in the follow-up, Lutmer gives away another penalty, gets a second yellow, he gets sent, Harrison with a chance of redemption. My goodness.
I'm speechless. I've never seen anything like that before. What a fantastic save from Lockie Schofield. Lutmer against his former side. 2 yellow cards and 2 penalties in a minute. I don't reckon he's ever done that in his career either. Extraordinary is the correct word. And Harrison, a chance for instant revenge. I've never seen anything like that.
Take 2. And this time he makes no mistake. The Knights given a major lifeline here. And with the Lions down to 10, they've got a glorious opportunity to go on and win it. Ignore the graphic, that's Tyler Harrison. He was denied once by Schofield. He wouldn't be denied a second time. Knights are back on top, and they've got 15 minutes against the 10 men of the Lions to try and extend that lead.
And throughout the game, the Knights hadn't really managed to penetrate that central defensive pairing of Hughesloop and Lutmer. They'd stood tall for 75 minutes. And then in the space of a minute for the Lions, has it all come crashing down? It is Nick Burns who's come off and gone straight to the change rooms. And what will the Knights do here? Do they continue to push? They throw bodies forward, knowing they're up against Ted Bed. What do the Lions do? And the NPL Tasmania title race, we've already said it's one of the best ones almost ever. It's just taken another crazy, crazy twist here at KG5. With Burkic and the Knights continue to take possession. They've had the majority of it in this second half, and that's a really good ball. And it's, is that going to be an own goal? The keeper's taking him out. Is that a third penalty? Neither. Well, more drama here at KG5.
How's the save from Schofield initially, though?
Caldwell well in, well onside. And I thought the nudge, and he's done fantastically well as Schofield. I thought that was going to be an own goal for a minute. Harrison shrugs Hammond off the ball, and the Knights go again. Plenty of space here for Dylan, and too much space as he's offside. You called it correctly, Andrew. A fantastic save from Schofield. It's similar to the save he made in the first half, getting a nice big hand to it.
It's an incredible stop. Full extension, fingertips. Caldwell must have thought he scored. Then he got clattered into, but he'd gotten the shot away, and I think it was just a fire through. I got no problem with them not getting a third spot kick. But my word, the drama at KG5 tonight. This title race continues to deliver. And the Knights suddenly looking likely to go on and win the game. Caldwell kept out by millimetres there. I feel sorry for young Schofield having saved that initial penalty and then have to face another one. And he comes up huge again if the Lions do go down tonight. It won't be on his count. He's been spectacular in net this evening for his side. But the Knights will attack again. Down the right this time. Crossed in. Caldwell lifts it over the top. It got a little touch there from Downs helping it on its way. And another corner as they continue to push for the match winner here, Glenorchy.
Could be heading towards a record amount of shots and goals here for such a competitive game here for Glenorchy Knights. They played out a fantastic 2-2 draw earlier in the season at KG5. This one probably already trumps it. And still 10 minutes to go as Dylan gets over this corner kick. Goes towards central. Mees with the header. Just eludes Walpole. Trying to do it all himself here. Charging out of defence was Kemp, but this time Burkage gets back. And Burden has not had a great deal to do in this second half as the Knights keeper pushing further and further out of his goal. Keeping a pretty high line as that one goes towards the near post, and Glover staying up from the corner kick. And one of the most unlikely sources, Jack Glover, has put the Knights ahead 3-2. They've made the comeback. And that does see them go to the top of the NPL Tasmania ladder.
It does. A huge shift here. A brilliant finish from Glover, the centre-back. Well, Redfern came up on the graphic. He finished it like Josh Redfern. That was, in fact, Glover. It's the centre-back who scored the goal. And the Knights have turned this one around. They have pulled it out of the fire and maybe resurrected their title hopes in the process. And now they're in a position where they are going to pile the pressure onto South Hobart tomorrow, because there'll be 2 points clear, and suddenly a draw will not be good enough for South tomorrow. They're going to have to go out and beat Devonport. That is an enormous goal, an enormous 2 goals. This title race has swung in 5 minutes of utter madness.
As Glover once again, second week in a row, Glenorchy Knights with the surprise goal scorer, Corderuccio last week in the first half. This time Glover staying up from the corner kick. His line's down to 10 men. I doubt he'd be up there if they still had 11. And you can see it's almost like for the Lions that just a big balloon has just popped. And not as big a press as we saw before. And they've been breached twice since that red card. And the Knights now, they're pretty good at keeping possession at the best of times. They've got 9 minutes of regular time. They've also got a large amount of stoppage time that we've got to come. It's going to be interesting to see how the Knights play out the rest of this game. Ogler now thought about having the shot. Instead lays it back to Schmidt. I imagine we're going to see, now that they're in there attacking half, plenty of this recycling of possession over the next 10 minutes.
The Lions down to 10. Surely you just knock the ball around and just try and bleed minutes here. You don't throw too many bodies forward at this point, I would have thought. You're going to keep attacking. There's no need to completely sharp shop or anything, but they won't be flinging bodies forward with reckless abandon anymore. I don't think we'll see Glover as an auxiliary centre forward anymore, as this one is bent in. They could finish it though if Riley Dillon were to get in a fourth. Plays it for Burkage. Steered behind, and the absence of Lutmer really showing on that last goal, I think. And yeah, it is a bit like the S just coming out of that Lions balloon. 5 minutes of utter madness. And it could well be 5 minutes that decides the title race. If Knights would go on and win their final 2 games, fate very much still in South Hobart's hands ahead of that match with Devonport tomorrow, but now all of a sudden they have to win it. It changes things. Connor Schmidt driving it over the top. This win would put Knights 2 points clear on top and such a significant goal difference advantage that really, in any tie situations, they're going to hold the tiebreaker.
It's going to be interesting to see tomorrow for St. Luke's what Devonport, I mean, they really, really need a win tomorrow to stay within touching distance. A draw tomorrow wouldn't be the worst result, but it will see them more than 3 points difference tonight, so it's going to be difficult for them. If the Knights go up to 43 and the Strikers only end up on 39, that's not going to be an ideal result. I'll be curious to see if that slightly changes the thinking mid-game tomorrow at some point.
I wouldn't be counting on Clarence Zebras to get a result against Knights, which they would then need. So they have to win. There's no doubt Devonport have to win. It's a little potentially different for South, but after this, I mean, both teams will be going for the win. As that one's shut down, it could swing again if Schwartz could find a third for the Lions, who would bet against it on a night like this. And a title race like this, filled with twists and turns. We might see more drama yet. Walpole. As it stands, the Glenorchy Knights will be a couple of points clear before South Hobart play Devonport tomorrow. They play the Strikers on the final day of the season. Whether the Strikers have anything to play for at that point, who knows? That will be determined perhaps by tomorrow. This crazy season. Three-way title fight going down to the wire. The Knights might have pulled this one right out of the fire this evening. They looked in trouble. When Schofield saved that penalty, you thought, wow, have they squandered it? But bang, they got another chance. And now lead this one 3-2 against a 10-man Lions outfit. It's going to be hard for them to find another goal with the numerical disadvantage.
Schofield hasn't really put too much of a foot wrong tonight. As the youngster is, well, dangerous areas in terms of getting himself a slice of cheese here for a bit of time wasting. And just being told that by the Lions players out on the field. Opera wanting to have a chat. Adding more stoppage time here. It favours the Lions now that the Knights are ahead. No cards dished out by the referee on this occasion. Lions with the free kick. Yes, thought about taking it. Instead, Greg Downs heaves it long. Harrison and Schmidt do enough to clear it out of play. Interesting in the background there, Eli Lutmer taking up position outside the ground, very close to the Knights bench. Where the change rooms are currently is Mees. What about getting the return ball, but that's comfortable for Burden. You would imagine that in this last 5 to 10 minutes, you would think the Knights are just going to, they're very good at playing those crossfield balls and recycling out the back, and you would think that they're going to do plenty of that between Burkic and Schmidt. There's see a few crossfield passing exercises go on here. Here's an opportunity to take a score up north, but they've managed to turn it over, and then Lions turn it over even cheaper, and it looks like it is still the same as half-time there, Andrew.
Yeah, 2-0. Riverside, Lonnie United also a player sent off by the looks of things there, down to 10. So, who's take the 3 points in the derby there, but certainly the very much the other end of the table, that one. Really weighing into the title race, either of those two. This one is where most eyes have been fixed this evening, especially from South Hobart and Devonport fans. Who would have been loving life at about the 75th minute mark. Perhaps not quite so much now. They'll both know they're going to need a victory tomorrow. The Knights so nearly slipping up. Ultimately, Some slipping up in the box might be what has bailed them out. Long ball through, Burton handling it comfortably ahead of Kemp. 90 seconds plus stoppage time to go.
Result for Riverside should see them just about secure 6th place, which pretty decent result for them based on a few previous years of bringing up the foot of the table.
Jekyll and Hyde at times this year, Riverside. They've had a few clunkers in there, but there's been some really nice performances too, and seem to be on the right track there, and good wins, and 6th place finish, some progress for them for sure, as Glenorchy knocks this one across to Calder, substitute. And quite content just stroke the ball around the pitch and make the 10 men chase shadows if they can here. No, they've just got to see this one out. And it will be all eyes on Darcy Street tomorrow. Glover looming as the hero for his side. Likely match-winning goal scorer. Burkic couldn't quite keep that one in play. Can the Lions find something in Copra time here, which is basically all we've got left. It's been a wild evening of NPL Tasmania football. Had a feeling it was going to be, but couldn't have predicted this kind of madness, Paul.
I've been looking forward to this game since the end of the last round last week, and it's certainly delivered on all fronts. Soaring battle, some good keeping, some good defending, good attacking, and then a nice bit of NPL Tasmania randomness thrown in there with the double penalty, double yellow card situation. And again, 2 o'clock tomorrow at Darcy Street. Either be there or tune in on the Football Tasmania YouTube channel. As Sherman not terribly happy that the ball got out of the far corner there to the far side. Knights do end up with possession again, and that time a bit more comfortably done there from the Knights. Back out towards the left-hand side. Holdo towards Schmidt. Back inside towards Mamich, whose first touch is a good one for the evening, and then great save again from Schofield, but offside on this occasion is Dylan. Anthony Mamich really making an instant impact to put this game to bed. Schofield stands tall again.
I've been so impressed by Lockie Schofield tonight. He has been super in the Lions net. He looks like a fine young prospect. A very good save there again. He's done all he can. He needs one of his attackers to pull a rabbit out of their hat at this point now, though. There's just stoppage time to go, and despite it being a big occasion, there's no minutes board this evening to let us know what is going on inside the mind of Brenton Copper and how many minutes we're going to have. You'd think there'd be around about 5 at least, though. There's been plenty of stoppages. There's a long one after a goal with this man involved at the heart of it. Dylan looking for the kill shot there, but throwing that one horribly wide. Either that or it's some really good time killing by just putting it as far away as possible and into the darkness.
He managed to curve that one all the way down the hill like a good 3 wood off the tee there into the far corner. But the Lions managed to get the ball back into play fairly quickly, and we'll see if they can try and maybe get a set piece in their attacking half and go from there. As the ball launched forward quite as far as Hammond. Mees will contest this one with Glover. Looked forward, back towards the Knights. There's Bain. Chips that one forward towards Mamich. Caldwell there as well. Mamich still going. Knights end up with it again. Maruccio. They haven't yet properly gone to the corner yet, the Knights. As the cross comes in, Douse manages to clear. By Schwartz is sliding in early. It was Caldo, and foul given on that occasion. And the Knights still looking for that 4th goal. Andrew, I'm surprised I haven't seen him go to the corner yet.
It's interesting, maybe thinking keeping him on the back foot is the best way of killing time, maybe earn a corner or two, but now they will head in that direction. Caldwell happy to start playing for time. And they'll just try and lock it down from here and keep it in this corner as long as possible. They're nearly there. It's almost job done for the Knights. It didn't always look like it was going to be that way. They trailed twice in this game. 1-0 and 2-1. And a penalty saved at 2-1. But within 5 seconds got another chance, and Harrison didn't miss on that one. And it led to Lutmer's dismissal. Against the 10 men, they quickly found the go-ahead goal. The goal that would put them 2 points clear on top. And South Hobart to play Devonport tomorrow. It is the most exciting title race in NPL Tasmania history. I think the flag was going to be raised there on Hammond. He realised it. As Burden eats up as many seconds as he possibly can. I'm not sure how long they'll be. As long as they can negotiate these final few seconds, it'll be job done. A shaky job at times, but they look like they're going to get there. The Glenorchy Knights. It's been a crazy night of NPL Tasmania football. Dillon, he could ice it here, Riley Dillon. He's got Caldwell in support. He lays it off and Caldwell buries it. And it will be the Glenorchy Knights who pick up the 3 points. There is the final whistle. They get the job done and move back to the summit. They're 2 points clear on top. They were made to work for it. But it's over to you, South Hobart and Devonport. And all eyes now go to Darcy Street.
Well, they did it the hard way, the Glenorchy Knights. A topsy-turvy game from their point of view. 1-0 down at halftime. Come storming home with 4 goals, 2 penalties. And they'll be happy to get the job done eventually. But it's really crucial that they got this victory. A draw, a few permutations would have been okay with that. They had to get the win, and they've done it. They've done it eventually. The Lions had a great fight all evening. Lockie Schofield in goal. I thought was one of their best, but really all turned with Lutmer heading off the field with that red card. You could just see the air completely going out of the Lions' performance. Tried to hold on there towards the end. And then Caldwell with the sealer. A fantastic game. What has been a fantastic title race that keeps going here in the NPL Tasmania. I cannot wait for tomorrow at Darcy Street and what that may bring. There could still be plenty of twists and turns in this one, Andrew.
Well, if it's going to go like this title race has so far, there's sure to be more drama. Do tune in for that one. 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. South Hobart now need to win the game if they're going to keep their destiny in their own hands. A draw or a Devonport win, and suddenly it is once again advantage Glenorchy Knights. This fascinating title race that continues to provide the drama and provided plenty of it tonight. The Knights got the job done. They win this one 4 goals to 2. I've been Andrew calling the action with Paul Hunt. Thank you for tuning in. All eyes now turn to Darcy Street. But from us at KG5 this evening, it's bye for now.